Now, Albanian activists are protesting against Ivanka Trump's luxury coastal development plan. They've got a new ally on their side.
I got you, moonlight, you're my starlight. I need you all night. Come on, dance with me. I'm levitating you.
Dua Lipa, who has Kosovan Albanian parents. She is supporting the locals who are protesting against what is a £1.6 billion development, and it's backed by President Trump's daughter Ivanka and her husband Jared Kushner. He's also Donald Trump's envoy in crucial disputes around the world. And here is Dua Lipa speaking on her Service 95 Book Club podcast.
I'm sure that a lot of people listening will have heard about all the protests that are happening right now. And I have to say, I find it so inspiring to see how much people really care. You know, day after day, they're like hitting the streets because the government has opened up this part of a beautiful nature reserve to a high-end beachfront development. And of course, this has been a huge story internationally because the company that's invested in the project is part owned by Jared Kushner and Ivanka Trump. But what I actually find concerning is the principle that the government could just change the law to remove the environmental protection without any kind of public consultation.
Yeah, a bit of a swipe there at the leader of Albania, Eddie Rama. Tom Kington is the Times foreign correspondent. Hi to you, Tom.
Hello.
Hi, so the protesters against this development couldn't ask for a much higher profile supporter, could they?
Well, it's an amazing idea, this sort of standoff between two of among the most visible women in the world, Dua Lipa and Ivanka Trump. You just played a clip from Dua Lipa's podcast, but back in May, there was a similar interview given by Ivanka Trump, giving the complete opposite version of this. She talked about being really excited about the development, which her and her husband are backing there in southern Albania. She said that she'd walked the land there with some of the world's greatest architects as they planned out these luxury villas and berths for super yachts and things like that. She was really enthusing about it. So it's very interesting then to hear Dua Lipa come out and say that she's really excited about the fact that so many people are determined to stop it.
And tell me a bit about the site in question, Tom, because it's, in Trumpian family style, it's a pretty upmarket plan.
Yeah, no, it's huge, and it would be built across sort of virgin dunes, which give on to the Mediterranean, but also back onto an inland lagoon, which is frequented by thousands of migratory birds and flamingos, and it is a protected natural area, or at least it was. Some of the restrictions on building there have now been relaxed thanks to a change in law, which many of the protesters there in Albania think was conjured up specifically to permit this development. Hence, people having a pop at Prime Minister Eddie Rama, saying that he is being a little bit too cozy with the developers.
Yeah, emotions really running high on this, which is perfectly understandable, I guess, when you've got the Prime Minister so deeply involved. And also, there are questions around the owners of the land that Ivanka Trump and Jared Kushner want to develop. And one in particular, a very controversial businessman.
Well, yes, when I was down there, I was talking to locals who were saying, we believe that we own this land, yet they were challenged in court by a Miami-based Albanian businessman called Artu Sheu, who said that no, he owned the land, and he has now been accused by prosecutors in Albania of actually having sort of fraudulent ownership papers. Some of his land has now been was going to be sold to be used in the development, and that is on hold now, pending this investigation. This man has also been accused of being a money launderer and having ties to international drug traffickers, none of which has implicated Trump or Kushner in any wrongdoing. They're not involved in this. However, we're talking here about somebody who sold or wanted to sell some of the land that would have been involved in the development. He's in a lot of trouble.
Right. So more and more sort of, I don't know, tangled, and you can see why it's become such a talking point, not just locally, and not just because Dua Lipa has pitched in, and not just because you've got Ivanka Trump with an interest in all of this, although those things count for quite a lot. It's the importance of this bit of land to wildlife, birds in particular. It's seen as pretty vital in that respect.
Well, if you listen to the experts, they'll tell you that it's on a river delta, and it's one of the very few undeveloped river deltas and wetlands in the Mediterranean. So it's a really key kind of stepping stone for migratory birds who will use that area as they get from northern Europe, perhaps to Africa or wherever. So if you get rid of it by building lots and lots of villas and jacuzzis, then the question is how are the birds going to get to where they need to get to?
So tell me, Tom, if the planning laws are being changed in a way that helps this development, and you've got the Prime Minister clearly doing his bit to help along the development to that extent, is this a lost cause from the point of view of Dua Lipa and the many protesters against the development? Is there much more that can be done apart from protesting and making a noise?
Well, I think that's quite a lot. What's interesting is that the protests have been going on now for a couple of months, every night. So what happens is that hundreds, if not thousands, of people gather in the centre of Albania and go and shout through megaphones outside the Prime Minister's office, and then go on a kind of march around the city, where lots of Tirana residents kind of wave from their balconies, come out and show support. And it's also, those protests have been joined by quite a lot of people from the Albanian diaspora. So you've got people coming back, particularly from the UK, actually, Albanians who've lived in the UK for many years, and they've heard about what's happening, and they're concerned, and they drive back to Albania in great big convoys. And I met quite a lot of British Albanians there in Tirana when I was there looking at the protests. So I mean, yes, it's just protests, but it's been going on for a long time and doesn't seem to show any signs of calming down. And then if you throw in celebrity backers like Dua Lipa, who knows? I mean, maybe Edi Rama, who's been very resolute in backing the development up until now, may begin to have doubts, but yeah, it's all to play for.
All right, good to talk to you, Tom. Thank you. Tom Kington there, Times foreign correspondent.